Hi, my name is Amanda Primiano. I am the Executive Director at the Monroe Free Library. And along with me today are my colleagues, Sam, Mike, and Elizabeth. And we're going to be talking about our Year of the Arts series, which was a year-long series highlighting the arts. So today we will share our process from start to finish. So back in July of 2021, at an all-staff meeting, I came up with this idea to break up our staff into 4 groups and say to them, okay, give me an idea for a program or a service. If you had $2,000 to spend, $3,000 to spend, what would you do? So each group came up with separate ideas. And one of the groups came up with this idea of the arts. One of the things that started that idea was thinking about how to draw in people that are in our community that are not using the library. So they started to think maybe a way to do that is through the local business community. So they started to think about the local business community and what did they have in common. So we have bakeries, we have photographers, we have florists, we have dance studios. So the arts came to mind. And they also felt that arts are typically the first thing to get cut from a budget. So they felt this was a great opportunity to highlight the arts for multiple audiences. At the same time, we were also going through our long-range planning process, and we were reaching out to the community, asking them what type of services they would like to see. So you'll see here in the highlighted areas, they were interested in culture and art exhibits and music and crafts and gardening and landscaping. So that really spoke to this idea of the arts. So with those 2 ideas in mind, the management team decided to put forward the Year of the Arts, which was, as I said, a year-long series of arts. So how did we get started, right? This separate group put forward this idea, pitched it, but now we had to actually get to work and get it started. So I sent a call for volunteers from my staff. I really wanted representation from every department, but I didn't want to volunteer anybody. I really wanted it to be something that they really wanted to do because it was a long commitment, a really long commitment. So we got our group of people, we set our meeting schedule, and then at every meeting, it was continuous brainstorming, especially in the beginning. There was a lot for us to figure out. And you had to produce. If you were going to be a member of this committee, you had to be able to come to the table with ideas and be ready. Budget, right? So you're probably thinking, well, how did they pull this off? So we were very fortunate that our board is a big supporter of the arts and that we did have some money that we could dip into outside of our already planned budget. And so we did get a budget now, but you might be thinking, well, what if I don't have a budget? How can I do this? There were a lot of things that we did internally that were very low cost or no cost. We kind of used what we had. So these are a few examples of our internal programs. Mike and I worked on the listening room. We have a very extensive music collection. So we put together themed weeks of music where you can come into one of our meeting rooms and listen to music. Samantha did a bullet journaling with the teens. Again, low cost, go to the dollar store, get tons of different bullet journals, stickers, etc. We did a community mural. We went to Michael's, got a canvas for 50% off, and we had paint on hand. We were able to do that. Painting, again, one of the months was painting, so we were able to use supplies. A few additional internals was a tiny art show as a take and bake. Samantha did a Teens Create for Photography Month where they turned a picture into a puzzle. Mike did a learn and listen, again, using our collection and having a discussion around music. A silent movie discussion. We did a photo contest. Trivia, Mike did a lot of themed trivias. When we did do external programming, it was typically a collective decision. So we had the cake lady, who's a local bakery owner in our area, come and do a program. We had a local artist do watercolors. A dance studio came and did creative movement for the preschoolers. hot chocolate. We had a professor come and do photography, Bollywood dancing, where people could come and do Bollywood dancing on the lawn. Movie props. Mike had a connection where we were able to do a Zoom program. So it was at low cost. And there was a point early on where we wanted to do line dancing. It was a big program, dance. We wanted to do dance as a big kickoff event for our program. And it was a lot of money for line dancing. We were really nervous about it because it was weather permitting and there was no refund. And we were like, I don't know about this, but we decided together, we voted and we did it. And it was one of our most well-attended programs.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth and I do the marketing at the Monroe Free Library. So to start off the Year of the Arts, we needed to set it aside from all of our other programming. And really that's coming up with a brand. So creating logos for it. And you saw in some of the examples that Amanda was just sharing, that circular logo was on everything that was Year of the Arts, so that these programs were set aside. And the larger one was added with our LibGuide headers for each different month, along with silhouettes. And we'll have another example, the photo contest you saw before. You can't see it right now, but that circular logo that's on everything so that people know, that our patrons know, oh, this is something special. This isn't the usual thing that the library has offered. And then we did, this is another example of the big banner. So we categorized everything. We released things in months of 3 and seasonally. So we color coordinated the monthly releases and we released them in months of 3 to kind of create a little bit of hype. So, oh, what is this? The first 3 months go out. Oh, this is new. What is this? And then, oh, the next 3 months are coming. And as you can see, as they were going, we would have those little question marks. So what's next? Okay.
Too fast.
There we go. Okay. Wait, no, one more. There we go. Okay, so, and then again, with everything with marketing, you need the collateral. You need to start getting things done. So each month we would create just a lineup of what was coming up for that month's art. And that includes everything from adults, teens, and children's events. And it's just a one-sheeter, really easy to see. We started using, sending that to the school district and they would send it out as well. So that also generated a lot of attraction and program registrations. We would do newspaper ads. And as you see there, releasing those next 3 months, what's coming up, giving people a heads up. And monthly, we would do Year of the Arts specific email blasts, a really easy, colorful way to highlight what programs are coming. Click on the button and register here. And that would actually, you saw a bump in our program registrations for Year of the Arts. One of the things we worked to do is I wanted to get a press release submitted for this, because as Year of the Arts was coming out, we weren't getting it, but what is this? What actually is Year of the Arts? So the press release explains what Year of the Arts is, what we've done already, and it actually released the next 3 months that we were going to be doing. And that went into the Photo News, which is our local newspaper. That was really exciting that we had that go out. Okay, and then of course, creating community buzz. We really just wanted to share because a lot of the things that we saw, these programs were really great. They were colorful. They were a lot of things that people enjoyed what they were doing. So we shared that. Instagram, and we saw rises in the likes. And as you saw with months go on as well, and there's our Facebook likes as well, I started seeing a trend that the marketing for the Year of the Arts, we were getting more interactions. And actually this month, I think like 80% of our Year of the Arts programming is completely full. So that's really awesome. And that's it for me.
Okay, so triumphs. It's always nice when you do a year-long series that you have some good triumphs, because otherwise you're just like, oh my God, this is not working out. But I know personally doing a lot of the programming, it was always fun to share with each other. Like when, oh my God, I had a screen program last night. It worked out. We did so great. And that was one of the best parts of the successes that we had. The other piece, we really wanted to keep this local. So we wanted to make sure that our community was also being showcased and being able to participate. We started with obviously Monroe. And then we went to Orange County as needed and a little further out if we needed, because sometimes you can't always find everything in your community. So we partnered with local museums, our local artists, some musicians, and we also gained a lot of new partners. And it's cool because now we can share those partners as we continue on with our programming once the Year of the Arts is over. A couple examples we have here. We had our our photo exhibit, which we had local photographers submit photos that we could put around the library and show. We usually had about 2 a week for that entire month of photography. Local artists we worked with to create art with our patrons. And we had a photo contest where patrons submitted photos for our contest, and then we as a committee voted on the one we liked the best, and they won a prize. So a couple other things, obviously the country line dancing that we said, there was also a local group, a local professor actually from West Point came and talked to our patrons about music and literature as well.
Another piece of this was, again, reaching out to the businesses and making new community partners and new connections. A few of the connections that we were able to make was through the Cake Lady, where one of our other colleagues, Melanie, worked with these local businesses and went around and asked them, would you be willing to partner with the library? And a lot of them were so gracious and did it at low cost or just at cost to them for supplies. She worked with the Cake Lady to do a cupcake decorating during our cooking month. And this woman showed them how to fill a bag and mix your colors and use the tips. And they actually got to go home with 2 decorated cupcakes. Some other examples were working with our local dance studios. They did a free performance on our lawn during the summer month, which was great because she was the woman who owned the dance company was so excited. She always is looking for opportunities for her dancers to get more practice with performances. And so it was a really well-attended event. Coming up, we have a program with a local florist, and Melanie was persistent with the local florist, getting her on board to work with us because they have businesses to run. So we're not always at the forefront of their mind, but she really persisted. And now we're connecting with this florist, and people are going to come to the program. They're going to learn how to arrange a flower arrangement and leave with that arrangement at no cost to them. So it's been a really great experience making these connections with the local businesses.
So something else we wanted to track was our attendance. Are we getting our regular patrons or are we actually getting new patrons? Well, spoiler alert, we got new patrons and our regular patrons, which is nice because it brings together a new group of people and people who use our library on a regular basis. So it brought a sense of community. And then some of our top attended programs were our themed trivia nights. Anything with food pretty much was pretty good. Our teens did a great nailed it, failed it program. Our dance theme stuff, we also showed Ghostbusters on the Lawn, which was a big success. So that was really nice. And then, the last part about it was community participation. We really wanted people to not just get to learn about the art, but to do the art, because arts are about also doing, not just learning about certain things. We had a mixed media mural, which actually was a lot of fun. I didn't know anything about mixed media and I was able to do them. So I was excited about it. Our community cookbook, where people submitted recipes and we created a cookbook, which is in our collection today. Take and Mix, we had a fun photo booth. And as you mentioned earlier, our tiny art show, as well as all sorts of other good stuff. So.
All right. So along the way, we had some failures and bumps also. Not everything we did was a success. Some programs had either 0 or no attendance, like our first movie on the lawn, Singing in the Rain, the self-publishing, the poetry workshop, or the listening room. And then some of our more passive programs, like our short film competition, got no submissions. And then something that did get a lot of participation, but didn't turn out how we wanted, that canvas in the middle was meant to be a rainbow, a hand print rainbow. So yeah, people love doing it, but it didn't turn out how we wanted. And like all these programs are really well advertised and we were happy about them, but sometimes things just don't land, So we also had a problem at the beginning with a real lack of awareness. That first press release that Elizabeth so graciously got out was really hard to get out at first. The photo news did not work well with us. It was hard, We also realized that we were going to need an increased awareness on our website. So this is a screenshot of our website. All of the Year the Arts programs, whether they were children's, adults, families, whatever, all went in the website on black so that they would be easily identifiable and stand out from the others. And then this is a screenshot of our LibGuide. So the LibGuide is where all the programs lived, organized by each month. Again, this was not getting a lot of traction. So we paired it with an email blast that went out. And as soon as it got added to the email blast, the stats went way up. And we also really had a hard time at the beginning choosing which arts. So martial arts, graphic design, sculpting, those were considered, but not taken. And we didn't take those because we were unsure then, they didn't fit our schedule. There was other ones we just liked better. And then some arts almost got removed, like mixed media. But we really almost didn't choose it because, again, it's kind of hard art. What does that even mean? So we had to do some research on it. Once we did, we ended up coming up with the community mural that Mike mentioned earlier, and it ended up being one of our most successful community events. It looked beautiful in the lobby. So
it was also a challenge getting started. So not every meeting felt successful in the beginning. We had lots of ideas. We had to decide which arts to pick. We had some non-programmers on the committee we had to teach them how to program. How would we keep track? So some meetings just felt unsuccessful. We felt like we were spinning our wheels. We also lost 2 members during the process, and we gained 2 members, so we had to onboard them. There was a lot going on, and it was a challenge. So how do we sustain something like this? It's a year-long thing. How do we sustain it? Well, we had to find a workflow. You know, we had a lot of meetings in the beginning to figure out how we're going to do this, how we're going to keep track. Eventually, we found our flow. We found out what worked for us. We helped each other stay accountable through a few ways. So, you know, in the beginning, you know, like I said, we had to all come to the meeting prepared and produced because we had to keep putting programs forward every month. So we found a way to keep track of things. I know it's hard to see here, but there's this one document that we used, and we decided that anyone that pitched an idea would stick with it from start to finish. So you would be responsible for submitting marketing, payment, liaising with the artist, submitting supplies, attending the event, recording the attendance of it, making sure all of those things did not drop. We felt like that was the easiest way to keep track, and it was successful. So how did we stay motivated? I think, you know, I'm not going to lie, this was a challenging project, and we really pushed ourselves. It was a long project, but it was really fueled by passion and a real desire to try something new. And I think what really kept us going was the fact that we were in this together from start to finish. Another thing that motivated us were our small wins. So one of our small wins that was mentioned earlier was making a connection with the school district. We really did see an increase of participation or understanding of this series because they were willing to every month push out our monthly calendars for Year of the Arts. Our community, anytime a community member took the time to participate in an activity, we felt like we were gaining traction. We felt like people understood that they were excited about the arts. So the community mural was one of them. Our cookbook, it was so exciting. Not only that people actually participated enough to make a cookbook, but that people actually took the cookbook. And it was a freebie. So we gave them away a limited number of copies. And then lastly, anytime a community member was willing to partner with us, it felt like a win because it just went back to our original idea of making those local connections through the local businesses. So a few final thoughts. For me, the cross-departmental collaboration really increased our staff collaboration and appreciation for each other.
for me, it was that the theme programming was just really fun to do. And it was a nice way to keep the children's department unified in our programming.
For me, it was really thinking outside the box, especially with arts I might not be as familiar with, and how I can kind of also put them into my wheelhouse so that I can do it.
And I'm sorry, our head of circulation, who is also on the committee, she said she felt completely out of her comfort zone, but that she learned a lot and had a lot of fun. You know, she really did amazing work working with the businesses to get this off the ground.
And for marketing, very creatively driven, I loved those meeting rooms where we would get to the drawing board and coming up with all those community ideas. It was really fun for me, and getting people excited about the arts is pretty rewarding.
Thank you.
Thank you.